Welcome to the Desert Vibe. I'm Glenn Gardner,
I'm Walt Richardson.
And I'm Jamie Ray.
I'm
and
Sal Cartagini.
that is exactly who you are. I'm glad everybody knows their
Their
persona.
place in the world.
What we do is we take a look at what's happening musically across Arizona every week here on this podcast, and we've been having a lot of fun, and watching it grow is has certainly been fun. But we have lots of different folks on who are involved in the music scene here in Arizona in one way or another. We have a lot of musicians on, obviously. But the guy who's on today as our guest, and a little bit later on we'll get to events happening around Arizona and around the valley. But the guy who's on today actually wears several different chapeaus. Uh, you know, he is a musician, although some would question, that. Not me. He also runs a really neat venue down in Tempe called the Chill Room. And I believe, Jamie Ray, it was you who tapped him on the shoulder. So I'm going to tap you on the shoulder and say, why don't you get us started with our buddy Sal?
All right, everybody. This is our sound check with Sal today. Sal from the Chill Room. So, Sal, I'm going to bombard you with some questions. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, like
We've
usual.
all got questions, but I'm
If you've
starting.
ever been around Jamie Ray for a number of time, that's just par for the course. The only thing we're doing this way, we're immortalizing it.
Right.
This is a sample of what it's like to be around Jamie Ray. So this is nothing different.
Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that.
I mean that in the nicest way.
I know. All right, Sal, on a serious note here. So,
Yeah.
you have the Chill Room down at
Yes.
Tempe. We love the Chill Room.
Thank you.
What's been the hardest part of running a music venue while being a working musician? Because you are a working musician as well. So what's the hardest part about doing both of those things?
The first reaction, it isn't hard. It kind of lines in, it lines up with what I do and what I like to do. So whenever you do something you like to do, it's really not considered work. It's a time balance thing. For instance, you asked me what I did this weekend. I was out on the road. I was in Florida. 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Alabama. The weekend after that, I'll be in Georgia. So this is the busy season. So I'm a weekend warrior.
Do you ever go anywhere nice?
Yeah. Topeka something. No, just kidding. We were in Philly, Baltimore. Yeah, I don't know what you might consider nice. Let's say interesting places.
Yeah.
Hey, I have family in Alabama. I love Alabama.
You should tell them. I forget what theater. If you know me, I don't really know exactly where I'm playing or what time. I know the general area
No.
and what time I have to show up at the airport. And then it's always. In fact, I got off the plane coming into Phoenix, and I pick up my baggage, and I didn't notice where the connecting flight city was from. I had no idea. We left Florida. It was a two-stage flight. We had to get on and get off, but I didn't consciously. I just got off, followed the guys to the next terminal, got on the plane. I'm looking at the baggage counter, and it says, "Where's the flight?" And I go, "I have no idea." So I had to go walk around all the baggage counters and look for my baggage, and I found out later it was Columbus. That was the connecting city.
I'm sure glad you know how to play a guitar and you don't have
Yeah, I
to.
know. That's all I know how to do. I mean, everything else, you have to handhold me. Where I show up, how to get in the van. Where to eat.
Right.
But in answer to your original question, no. I like being around musicians, and in fact, I didn't. In fact, I look at it differently. I was so focused on opening up the business, the basic stuff. My background as a real estate broker, and I was so entrenched in the details of finding the spot, building out the space, doing all the back work, the accounting, all the lease, all that thing. I was in real estate mode. I knew I wanted to do live music and build a stage, but had no clue what it would be to do. I just figured if we put a decent stage in, something will happen. And it's true, starting with my first meeting on opening night with Walter, it was a godsend, and we've built a really fun relationship. And he kind of opened some doors here to the music scene. I mean, if you had a scripted, can you think of anybody better to run into than Walt Richardson?
No.
So someone was looking out for us. And so then I just let what I normally do. I like musicians. I like to get good sound into place. I like to pride myself on putting the good. Well, Walter would come and say, hey, and you know how Walter does. He goes, what if you put another speaker in? Yeah, even though the speaker's $1,200, it doesn't matter. And then the monitors, he'd come over and go, hey, Sal, he'd whisper. When it cost me money, he'd whisper. So we built out the stage more, and then we were incredibly fortunate to meet Glenn. And I think it all started with a really vibrant Friday night commitment to open mic night, which Glenn ran and started and set the tone. And from there, I would fill the slots on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Saturdays. So out of the wellspring of the open mic nights, where we did without fail, they're really fun. And we got to meet so many great people. The talent that Jamie Ray came in. I forget. I remember the first time you guys came in. I don't remember how you ended up from Santan into Tempe. How did you come into the chill room the first time?
Sal, I heard about the chill room and it had open mic. And
Right. So there you go.
I
Right.
wanted to bring the band out of Pinell County a little bit onto the other side of town. So I
Into
started.
civilization,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. And where there were people who could hear music.
Right, that.
So
Away from the sheep,
So I started hounding you. I know you remember that. I started reposting the chill room stuff. I went in, I found out what time you showed up at the chill room. I did my homework.
Yeah, I know.
And I would show up.
Borderline stalking, but it was great.
I would show up before you were going to walk in. You usually, I won't say it now because then you'll get people hounding you. But yeah, I just hounded you. And I remember talking to you the first time. You didn't know me from Adam, and I was just doing my Lebanese talk and selling it until you finally said, "Okay, we'll book you. When can you play?" And I'll never forget, you gave me a Sunday, and I thought, oh, he's giving me a Sunday. Okay, all right. But I packed the place on a Sunday, our first time there. So I just loved the vibe. I did go check it out on open mic before I ever brought the band in to do open mic and meet you. And I just love it.
To meet Glenn. Yeah,
I love it.
It's great. And that's how it started. And then, open mics by the very nature, they do 2 songs, right? And then you can spot as a musician, any one of us could look at somebody and do 2 songs, say that person's got something, they need to expand, or you approach them later and say, look, how about, doing a full set, 45 minutes at least, maybe an hour, and then what we like to do at the Chill Room is team them up, encourage the community to get together. I mean, what I really love about open mic and how we built it is that my job there is host. In the beginning it was a lot of back end stuff, trying to get the drinks. Honestly, no interest. Making pizza. Nah, it just doesn't. In fact, up until I had the Chill Room, I'd never been behind the counter at a restaurant. Zero, no interest, right? But out front, you see somebody and then you talk to them and say, hey, this guy would be a good match, and you put them together. Walter's amazing at that too, putting talent and blend. So since then, people get together. It's a very loose vibe. People, hey, can I play on your can I come up? Can I play? Can I play the cajon? And that's the vibe it's taking. So if you're asking me what's difficult, it's not. I just had to take my love or my interest and my excitement for music and just apply it to just, making a good space or trying to create the environment where people feel comfortable. And, there's like, I can think of a few particular people where they were so scared to get up, right? And they'll just watch them grow, and then collaborate and start bands. It's been great. It's re-energized me in a certain way, because there's I play in a different, what do you call it? Ecosphere, whatever it is, whatever the word is. I had no idea about bar scenes and local music, and it's been amazing to immerse myself in and meet all of you and all the people, and it's great. It's like Fridays are my favorite day. Can't wait. I'm looking at, here I am doing business during the day, and it's like, what time do I gotta get out of here? So it's 4 o'clock. Yeah.
That's what I love about the Chill Room too, though, because I've had a lot of the younger artists that I have seen grow in the Friday nights also open up for us when we play there. And
Right.
I love to be able to do that because like you said, several of them have built their own bands around just doing stuff like that. And I think,
And you guys have grown so tremendously. So when my other bands, the touring bands, they did a local show, I had the first person I thought of, hey, my buddy called me and he said, hey, listen, we need another band to open up for us. I think we're doing a 44 and Pure. We did a show.
Yeah.
I got it. So I called, uh, Jamie Ray, and, I didn't know if she was going to take it. I had no idea. What kind of bullshit? She's, oh, yeah, yeah, no problem. So
I
she,
know Sal says to me, don't you got to ask the band? I said, well, I am.
no.
What,
I
I asked the
am the
band.
band. That's
But that's the
right.
way, so it's my way of, keeping it together. And then, I'm always honored when Walt asked me to get there and play guitar in his band. I love to help out. So it's another family, In fact, on a personal note, y'all were moving to Tempe. Well, I'm living in Fountain Hills, a half hour away, kind of feel, but we want to be where it's our new home, our new base of operation, our new home, our new family, it's kind of fun. So.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, I know. Really go sell your property before November 1st.
You
And
know,
they
he
don't.
knows real estate. He knows real estate. He knows it's taking a dive here
But
after November
in
1st.
a long introduction about maybe a little bit about me. The short answer, it's been way more. It wasn't even on my radar how much fun I would have. It wasn't even a thought. I said, let's just put up. Let's see what happens. And as it started, it became. I would go and say, wow, nobody told me. If somebody told me this was going to happen, I would have been excited about it.
Okay, wait a minute, because I think it's my turn in the order of questioning here. I met Sal, I think it was 3 days or 4 days after you guys had officially, well, opened the doors, right? And Nick told me, he says, "Hey, I got a friend named Sal. I think you'd really like him." That was his first words, and he said he's opened up a place in Tempe called the Chill Room, and I was thinking, oh, that's kind of a neat name. He says, what are you doing? Was a Friday? It was, what are you doing Saturday or something like that? And I go, I got a gig. It's over at about 9. He says, come over to the Chill Room, and I said, okay, meet Sal. So went over there and I met Sal, and it was Sal, Nick, his girlfriend, and myself. And we sat at the table right by the stage there, started chatting. But I walked into the place, and when I first saw it, I go, "Oh my God, this place can blow up." And those are the first kind of like words that I said to you, and I was thinking, I was getting excited about the whole vibe, the look, the layout, everything. And so we started playing guitars. I grabbed that guitar off of the that you had there. Started playing some Cat Stevens and everything, and then it just went from there, man. I was kind of excited about bringing people in to see what you guys were doing, because I felt like it was filling a niche, a void, and would do exactly what it's doing. And I know I could see in your mind you were just trying to get the doors open, making sure everything was in place and all that kind of stuff. And I could see that going on, those wheels turning. But I was also excited about meeting you personally and getting to know what the possibility of this place could be. And it has it done what I thought it would do, but even more. And I think the more comes from the fact that the way you and your family approach people and treat people with kindness and stuff. And you're a New Yorker, man. I mean, you come from New York, man.
You like
Let's-
us or don't like us. It's really no
I
between.
know there's no in between. You know, I want to talk a little bit about that part of your life, growing up in New York and then transplanting to Arizona. We've had a lot of talks. Tell us about how your life was growing up and where you grew up and then eventually moving out here.
Oh, you want to know what New York was like?
What your life was like growing up in New York and then,
Oh, well,
yeah,
anybody who's from the East Coast, it can eat you up and spit you out. And if it
right,
doesn't kill you, it makes you pretty strong.
right.
I had a lot of adjusting to do. I had to really slow the motor down when I moved here in '93.
Yeah,
yeah, it was a culture shock. I grew up in Brooklyn on a block where there were 40 kids in apartment buildings, and then I moved here and had a house in Fountain Hills. I look out the window, there's desert and saguaro, and I had that moment. I go, "Well, how did I get here?" No idea, seriously. So it was quite an adjustment, and I came here to build my real estate business, which I did. And then at that time, Vincent was 1 years old, and Anthony wasn't. We didn't have Anthony yet, so Lisa and I made a decision not to raise kids in New York. It was great as a single guy. I mean, there's so much music going on. There's a lot of competition, and bands, and the level of play was really, really super. I mean, I used to go to clubs and watch Joe Satriani and Steve Vai
Mm.
in clubs, and I used to want to go home and burn my guitar. So, I mean, this is what I was exposed to. So I didn't do any music here until 3 years in. I had to build my business, had to take care of my family, had to get settled. Then I picked up the New Times in 1996, and I said I was getting the itch, I was getting the bug again. And my brother plays bass, so I corralled him in. I said, let's just go meet people. We got into bands, and then that's where I started to get a full hold and meet the people who would eventually be in the tribute scene. I got an original band in the late 90s, and we were looking at a record contract. I had a three-piece band. It was a really good band, but you all know how that goes.
Yeah.
And by that time I was 33.
Mm.
I passed the time. I'm not about to get on in fact, do you remember a place called the Green Room?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Green Room.
Yeah.
This is a
I remember
pivotal
that.
moment in my life. I was there with my original band. We had contract coming up, and we were doing. And there was a band on the bill called Puya, which was a band
Yeah.
from Puerto
Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah.
Remember Puya?
Yes, I
They were a
do.
really good combination of metal and Latin music.
Yeah.
So my buddy and I, who played the drums, he was my partner. So we're in the parking lot, and there's this 15-passenger van pulls up with a little, cargo thing, and they're loading up. And we were just talking, so where are you going now? Oh, well, we're heading towards the south, towards Florida. We got a gig in New Mexico. We got a gig in San Antonio. We got in New Orleans. And they go, and we're looking at each other, me and my buddy, and he goes, and you're driving in that. How long are you going to be on the road? Oh, we got a 3. Then we're going to circle back towards the north and come through. It was at that moment, my friend and I said, "No, we're not going to do this. I love you, but I'm not going to go. The house and kids. That's what I'm going to do. Eat I think that's when reality hit, and then that whole thing, and when we canceled everything, basically, it sounds silly, but then what happened was my friend, the same guy, called me and says, "We got to do. Did you ever hear of a Kiss tribute? Ever hear tribute bands?" I go, "What's that?" "Well, people get up, they dress up, and they do another band." And I said, "Well, what do you have in mind?" He goes, "Well, I mean, the Kiss guys, those imposters, that Elvis guy, I don't want, so let's do AC/DC. I go, "Nah, but a very long story short, yeah, he threw the gauntlet down. Well, if you don't think you can, like,
Oh.
there's New York that goes, right? So then in 2000, we started an AC/DC tribute that went for around 12 years. We kind of started the tribute scene here in Arizona. That's kind of where the New Times will come out, and they would say, "What are you doing?" Nobody knew what a tribute band was. Now it's big business and continues to be.
Yeah.
But we said, if you look up articles about why are you doing this? We had to explain what we do, but it worked. So that's how I got into the tribute scene, and then kind of left the local scene and moved. So now the Children has put me back in touch with the regular scene, which is, I'm so glad, because there's so much good stuff going on here, and it's re-energized the other stuff. So I've come full circle.
So what you're saying, Sal, is as more of these people kick the bucket, you are doing better and better and better. Is
Yeah.
that the
It's so
business
funny.
model?
This is the business model. In fact, I had wanted at one point, I was so busy, I wanted to put a national, I even had a name, the ATA, American Tribute Association, to differentiate which bands could be, and you had to be a certain thing. But like all good ideas, like, the cheese and the crust, which I thought about 20 years ago that Little Caesar stole from me. Of course, it got away, right? But it's true. It's true. It's true what happened then. Now there's a tribute to everybody. Yeah, but
Right.
tribute to Foodie and the Blowfish. It doesn't matter. But it's coincided with the price of tickets.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
good tribute band, you pay 35, $50 for a ticket instead of 300, $400 and the enjoyment level, if you're close, you get to see them,
Yeah.
and there's quite a niche. It's very popular now.
And
So
in some cases, I mean, musically, actually, with the technology that's available and whatnot, the quality of the performance sometimes is actually better
Mm.
than in some cases what the actual original artist, is capable of doing
well, yeah, I can tell you the Boston tribute took 8 months to put together to figure out how to get the sound, how to get, the vocals and the guitars. It was it's
It
and
would help if you were from Boston
yeah, well, one guy is
as opposed to New York.
close
So,
enough.
so,
No,
eh,
no,
so,
Well,
so
no.
in reference to your Boston band, that's the tribute band that I first got a chance to see a performance of. And I was absolutely blown away by the performance itself. I mean, you guys, you feature that one album that has Amanda on it, or is that what it
yeah,
is?
that was
Yeah,
one of their biggest hits. Yeah.
yeah. And man, what a show! What a
Thank you.
show! I've seen it twice now,
Yeah.
and by far, I think,
And I think it's amazing. And I wasn't. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I love their music. I wasn't a huge Boston fan, but since I've seen your tribute, I can't. It's amazing. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
They really are. It's awesome.
I actually walked out on it twice, but
He
but
did. I was
what
there.
I saw of it, I thought
There.
was very good.
A
Um,
little bit that you could handle.
it's actually great stuff that you guys do. But when Walt tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'm talking to this guy down in Tempe who opened this place," and so on and so forth. Um, when I walked in there, Sal, the thing that impressed me the most was the fact that it's a non-alcoholic establishment.
Mhm.
And the music world, particularly locally, is so heavily tied, in some cases, in many cases, to alcohol that to me, that was a real game changer. And I actually think to a lot of the musicians coming through on a Friday night or whenever, it's a game changer because it's interesting when you take alcohol out of the mix. And I've got nothing against people drinking. If they want to drink, God bless them, that's fine. But it really does have a different feel and a different vibe of keeping the focus more on the stage than on lots of distraction. As those of us who played in a lot of alcohol based venues, I mean, I spent decades. The longer the night goes on, the more people drink, the louder it gets. Then the sound increases more. Then the louder that is just not an issue in the show. Was that totally by design, or did that kind of happen by accident?
We knew, well, the origin of the chill room just very quickly, like I was in Florida and my cousin lives in Florida and he has the chill room in Florida. So I had the same reaction that you had when I walked into this place, that it was an alcoholic. And then and we spent some time there. Vincent did an apprenticeship there for 6 months or 8 months but the immediate vibe I got is that there's a different feeling here when you take alcohol out of the mix, no matter what. Again, like you, I like a drink. I like a couple shots of tequila now and then. But as far as the atmosphere of the place is different. And I had no interest in opening up a quote unquote a bar. Didn't want to, my experience. I mean, I played, we did the bar scene quite a bit in Arizona. I can tell you a million stories that are fueled by alcoholic abuse. It's very interesting. I can't even say here, but I was well aware as a musician who's been around there that it definitely has an effect. And no, it wasn't by design. I just knew I didn't want to be my family around and deal with the element, of alcohol. How it affected the music, it was, again, a lot of it was a happy accident. It was setting up the place, putting the stage in, and let's see how people react. And it's all been positive. It's been more of that than by design.
Yeah, and I think the the lack of alcohol, the other side benefit that I actually didn't even it didn't occur to me because it you know been a while since I've had any children in the house, but there's that element too that it can actually attract people who are younger who wouldn't be able to go to another venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't serve alcohol, so you don't have to be 18. If as I'm listening, I'm thinking about something that if I do have one frustration, and this is something I'm going to work on in 2026 as we get to the next level, is the fact that the musicians and the people who come from the outside and they don't have alcohol, but they're reluctant to embrace the kava culture
Mm.
in places like Florida where there's a kava bar everywhere. It's almost like Starbucks. Here, there's a learning curve for the general public. I mean, they know, hey, I like the fact we don't have alcohol, but there's an element missing that really would contribute to how people feel and react with each other if they would, more embrace the kava culture, like the drink kava itself. If you ever see me in there, the first thing I do is take 2 or 3 bowls. After 3 or 4 bowls of it melts the anxiety away, and it brings a feeling of openness and togetherness, a connection with what's in the room. I experienced it, and there are some people that have done that, but for the most part, people have not experienced that yet, and it's really good with music. Like I'll come in and just today has been tough, and next thing you know, I'm itching behind the bar to get up there and play because of how I feel and feel the connection. You just want to join in. So if there's any one little frustration, I'm going to work, and I've got some ideas, and you've seen me to, don't want to force anything, but have people be more open to really getting the benefit of this amazing product because it fits right in with the music and the community and the togetherness and how you feel when you play. When I play outside, I take the little bottle of extract with me. So before a show, I'll load up on kava. It's kumbaya, the audience, we are one,
Yeah.
and so that's one small frustration. See, I'm not the type to go, hey, do this, but I'm going to find a way to get that. That's my goal maybe next year, to try to integrate that more and get the people to try it and experience that in a good way. Because the people who have, Ryan, for instance, well, he loves it. He says, oh my God, I came in today, I didn't feel that good. After a few balls, I want to get up there and play. It just, I don't, it breaks down barriers in your thought or your feel. It's hard to describe. And I experienced that when I went to the chill room in Florida, which motivated me to work with my family and do this, because the product that we're selling, ultimately, it's a kava bar, is very conducive to what we're doing, and especially the music part, which at the time, like you said, I had no brand plan. Walter to Glenn to, like right here, I have Walter who introduced me, and then Glenn, and he helped me, and then someone like Jamie comes in, and it's like, this is how it works. So the one missing element is that people should embrace, or I'd like to see them embrace, the kava more. Not because we sell it. I mean, you can sell, people buy, but
Yeah.
to specifically try this product in the way it's supposed to be used and experience the effect and how it complements the musical experience.
Mm.
That's the next thing for me, is I got to try to figure out how to do this. So
I have another question to add to that or attached to that. You said the word culture, kava culture. Um, what is the culture? Because you do have a film that plays up on one of the TVs where you see it's kind of like either a Polynesian kind of thing or whatever, people sitting around, and it looks like it's an island vibe and everything. So a culture usually reflects a way of life, talks about a way of life. So I've heard the word, and can't, I'm still learning the difference between the kava culture and the kava product. How do you,
yeah, that's a great question. The kava, we refer to as kava culture or kava community. And it's more,
yeah.
it's like anytime you have a culture or community, there's something that binds them together,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the musical community or whether it's, poetry or whatever it is. It's some sort, maybe it could be anything, but the kava culture is kind of like a wink, wink in the know about the effects of kava and that's what draw people together. Because the kava culture, the community was from Polynesian roots, and it's ingrained in their culture because the effect of kava is a very mild, mellowing, welcoming feeling, and that when they have major events or where they want to welcome someone and they use this ceremony based on the use of kava, so that's the kava culture. So when you see kava bars and you refer to the kava, it's the people. Now, if you've noticed that, when we first started, I think there were maybe 4 or 5. Now there's about a dozen. It's starting to grow in Arizona, and it's not like we say, oh, you got to go to the chill room, you go here or there. They kind of circulate, and then one introduces another one to another one. So the community is growing, and it's more of like like I said, it's more of an acknowledgement that, hey, listen, we choose not to do alcohol because that has its own culture and their own community, right? If you go into any bar, you have the people who go to that bar and they drink, and that's what they do. In the kava community, it's the knowledge that what this product does and where we can share, and it's welcoming.
So how is that the kava itself um, uh, cross the line or differentiate itself from being a drug?
Well, no, it's not a drug. What it does, to get into like a little backstory, what it is, it's a plant.
Yes.
And through the use of they use the root, they put it into a powder, and they squeegee the water through the root and makes this mixture. Part of the challenge has been to make it a little palatable for people in Arizona first try it, and they go, well, so it's a little earthy, right? So, but that was my first reaction. What am I drinking, mud water? But after about 2, 3, 4 of them, you get the effect, and you go, oh, I'll deal with a little mud water. And then you get, and like everything else, it grows on you. And I like the taste. It's cold. It's not sweet. It's not bitter. It just has its own flavor. But some people do that. But as far as it releases something called kava-lactones, and kava-lactones has a natural effect to increase the dopamine
Oh,
in your
okay,
brain,
that explains it.
which gives you a sense. It's a sense of well-being. That's
Yeah.
the best way to do it. You get a sense of well-being. But like you guys are familiar with like the little 4-ounce ones that
Yeah.
you need about 3 or 4 of them. But you're not going to take 20 ounces of this mud water and expect somebody to drink this down.
Yeah.
You have one, it's called a shell. You have a shell, you relax, you talk, you have another shell. After about 3 or 4, then you're like, and I've seen it work. I've had people come in a little, all right. So then we have something called a Tanoa bowl, which is about 16 of those, and people sit around and they ladle it in, and I serve the bowl and I walk away, and I come back 15 minutes later, they were like this. Now I walk back, they're like, and they don't even realize it. And I go, how you
Yeah.
feeling? And they go, yeah, it's not like alcohol where you take a few shots and you start spinning or you get this immediate effect. It's a long-term, nice, warm feeling.
How long
I'm
does it
glad
last?
I'm sorry, Walt. I'm glad you asked that question though, because, and I'm going to speak for myself. I can't speak for other people, but many people don't know this about me. I don't drink. I never did drugs, and I'm bipolar. So I was always afraid. I didn't know what kava was. I didn't get it. And someone that's never done any of those things, to me, I was just fearful of it. But after speaking with Sal and with Vincent and learning more about it and trying it, I love it. And I know, Sal, you remember the one night I wasn't feeling too well and I was tired and sluggish, but I had a 2-hour show at your venue and you're like, you need to try this. So I did. That was the most amazing. I don't know if feeling's the right word. I guess it is the right word, but it pepped me up. It gave me the energy. I was able to go through with the show, and
especially when you're performing, your adrenaline goes up.
yeah,
Kind of lacks the adrenaline and takes the nerves and just leaves you with this feeling. So as far as I see it as a perfect match for the music community. It really is. And I always take responsibility. I'm going to come up with a way to try to promote it a little more. So I don't want to push on people, but again, I have to remember it's something new. It's not, there are certain places around the country where it's very, very mainstream. Like there's a million, I think there's over 300 kava bars in the state of Florida. In Arizona, there's a dozen.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to say that though about my background, because I think some people that don't know about it, but I didn't know what it was, or and like I said, I come from a background of never doing anything, and I was fearful of it. And it's nothing to be fearful of, because it's very natural and it's very calming, and it has all different, it depends on what you're drinking, but
The
I
only
love
thing
I
I
think you
have
should at least try it.
beware, it makes you talkative.
Yeah, and I don't need
I
that.
don't know. I think we could be unleashing a beast here.
That's one of the things that made me nervous.
Especially with me. I'm at the register. I've had 4 or 5 of these, and I'm like,
I don't need that.
it lowers the barriers. So I don't know. I think maybe you shouldn't try kava that much.
I don't. I did that one night, and I needed it, and that was great. My point was that it's not something to fear. It's something you should
Yeah.
try.
No,
Go
there's nothing you
there.
can't do.
Yeah.
You can't overtake it. You
No.
can't. Yeah. It's really, I wouldn't.
Well,
And I did my research. I wouldn't open a place and bring my family into a situation where we're dealing with stuff that's going to be anything questionable or harmful. That's not who we are.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Hey, I was wondering, Sal, after this great launch, and really, there were so many businesses that open and close before you even know they're there. The statistics are actually very, very daunting. If you've never looked at them, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. It's
there's
very,
that moment.
very.
There's that moment where I go, "What am I doing?" Before we opened up, I had that moment sitting in this chair, looking at this and looking and saying, "Am I crazy?" But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, the answer is yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
But that
Still
has
do
nothing to do with the business thing. But what's next for the chill room? Do you just kind of there's an old adage in business that if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There's no such thing as treading water. What are you guys hoping to have happen?
They talk about a 3 to 5 year window where there's going to make a break. We just come up to year 2. So, and also it's interesting. We've never run a business before. We've never worked as a family. So there's a learning curve, but there are certain basics that I know and we're working. So the first year was just getting started, fine tuning the menu. We're really flying by the seat of our pants. You've all witnessed it, right? We've had, now that we've got a measure of stability, then the next job, and this year was all about bringing on employees and bringing people you can't do everything yourself. So that's that level. Now that we've gotten through that level, the next thing is we've got more growth to do. We've got to fill spots in our, our main times, and then it's all about advertising right now. So now we're going to get the word and get everything. Eventually, when we start filling the slots, I'm thinking about opening early. There's other divisions in the children that could work, but eventually we'd like to open up another one. But in order to open up, the problem is that people who open up businesses are not ready for them, and the work is systematizing it, because a lot of what you say is that, well, we like to see Sal and Lisa and Vincent, but you've got to be able to systematize a business so that the culture is ingrained in how we do business, how we work. So if you open up another spot and we can't be there, you have to have the confidence that the same level of quality, and the same, like opening up in Santan. I mean, the first, we talked about that. I said, well, we're not ready to, I know, because it could use it down there in Santan, but in other places. So that's for us, but we're not going to rush it. The chill room itself has a lot more growth, a lot more learning for us to do. But that's it. And then once we get the model where we could reasonably open one, maybe some here, maybe 3 or 4, then it becomes an economy of scale. Yeah. Right. And eventually Lisa and I want to retire and go on a beach somewhere in Costa Rica. And then Vincent and Anthony can take that over. And then, we'll just make an appearance here and there. I have a great idea.
I have a great idea for the next project that we'll talk.
How much is it going to cost me?
He'll have to whisper it to you.
Hey, hey, Sal, let's just have coffee and talk to you about it.
It's going to be an expensive one, Sal.
I know.
The
And
the
whenever his
coffee's
voice goes a little low and he leans in,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel my,
coffee.
I feel my pocket, my wallet, just draining.
Hey, I'll pay for the coffee.
Oh, it's going to be really expensive.
You're in
No,
trouble.
we plan to do that. There's some other kava bars that open in the morning, 7 a.m., and they do a big coffee thing. That's been on my plan. We do a retail for the customers here. Wow. What we have a lot of potential. We haven't even tapped into what this one location is going to do.
Well,
So
I really, really, really love the place, and it was such a meeting of stars aligning, and
yes,
the right venue, the right vibe, the right people, the right place. I mean, that's
Yeah,
another thing that you can't
yeah.
always
Location.
anticipate.
Hmm.
Is you land something somewhere, and then the rest is kind of a little bit up to fate. You can control some things, but others you can't. But I had such a great time there, doing that open mic for a couple of years and watching something grow and watching the positive impact that you have on people. And I've hosted a lot of open mics, I've done a lot of gigs, whatever, like all of us on the screen here. But I have to say that it's rare when you get numerous people coming up to you and say, "This place has
Yeah.
changed my life.
Yeah.
This place has had a real impact on me. I wasn't doing so well, and this gave me a new, different purpose." And I mean, that really is something you don't hear a whole ton, I think, every day of the week in a business, quote unquote, setting.
yeah,
Sure.
I wasn't, like you said, you asked me what my biggest concerns were that didn't go right. It's more, we knew that there would be a lot of hard work and a lot of, I don't want to say struggle, but there'd be a lot of things that and hurdles to get over. What I didn't plan on was all the good stuff, things of what Glenn is talking about. Sometimes I have a hard time. Like there's some people that can take compliments and don't know how to take a compliment. I'm kind of like there. And when people say that, I kind of have a hard time internalizing that. But I hear that and I'm proud of it. And the more we do it, we recognize, yeah, and people give back to us in the
Yeah.
same.
Well, you should be
It's
really,
not one-sided. Like when Vincent was ill,
Yeah.
Vincent got ill. He, it wasn't major, but he was out for 3 weeks and he
Hmm.
had the tonsils. You guys all rallied around this, our employees. You
Hmm.
guys, we weren't there. We weren't even on the map. Lisa and I,
Hmm.
and you guys, it was amazing. I had a moment. I said, do you realize I'm sitting in a hospital on a Friday night, which is the busiest night, and I don't have a care or concern at all,
Hmm.
like zero.
well, you
Right.
should have, because I was down there. But
Well, that's the one.
yeah,
For
uh,
one, the 1%.
well,
But
well,
that's a really, but that's those moments do happen where I go,
yeah,
wow, if I, and we didn't have to ask.
No.
People they
Yeah.
just they realized that there was a problem and they came in.
Yeah.
And and if I had needed to ask, then it would have been given very easily or
yeah.
I,
without any
I'll
problem.
tell this story. I was in there. I, I think it was one night where you guys were at the hospital or something, but I was in there and one of the waitresses dropped a glass and it broke on, the customer side of the bar. And everybody, when glass breaks, you got people go, oh, but instead of that kind of reaction, everybody looked over from the pool table, from wherever they were. And because it was at night, they came over and they turned their phones onto flashlight and helped her get all the pieces up that could have shattered in all these different areas. And I was looking at it and I said, man, there were people that were in conversations, doing their own thing on the computer. They all got up and came over and helped her clean up the glass. I thought, when do you see that in a club?
You
You
don't.
know, you don't.
No,
I thought that was pretty cool. I had to share that story with you.
It's a real. I mean, it's a real
Family.
difference, and I think, Sal, you should, and Lisa and Vince and Anthony,
Yeah.
everybody down there needs to be really proud of what's transpired there, and really appreciate you coming by today, even
Yeah.
though you didn't have to go anywhere really. It was
right. Oh,
pretty damn
I
easy.
appreciate it. It's the day-to-day operations of the business sometimes clouds the other part. It's always good to hear. So I appreciate you sharing the stories, and
Yeah.
makes me feel good.
Well,
Now I
we
can't do
love you.
real estate now. I have to do something children oriented now for the rest of the day.
We
All
love
right.
having y'all in the community.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
Thank
thank you,
you.
Sal.
Glad to be
Thank
a
you
part.
for everything you do, and thanks for coming by. And we're going to send you off into
Thanks
the
for having me
ether
on. It was
now.
really good. It's
Thanks,
appreciate it.
buddy. We'll
Hey,
see
Thank
you
Sal,
soon.
you.
Before you go,
Yeah.
what's the next big thing coming up? I think you guys have an anniversary,
Oh, we're
right?
having the 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's right. November 8th,
Hmm.
starting at Glenn. Glenn, did I get around to asking you if you wanted to play on one of the spots on the
I
acoustic?
don't think so, but let me.
Well, are
Is
you
that
available?
is that a Friday?
Saturday.
What's a
Saturday.
Saturday? Saturday. Wanted you to kick off things like you did the last year. If you want to come in when we open, I think we open at 1 o'clock, and we have do the same setup on the side of the stage, and to have acoustic in between. We have four bands.
I will definitely be involved in some fashion, and
Okay. So
we'll
when we get
talk.
offline, I'll chat with you
I'm
about
not going to miss that. So
it. Yeah. I
yeah.
even called the city of Tempe for a permit. I can open up the doors and put table and chairs out there. I'm pretty much close to doing that. And I asked them for next year, maybe put a stage outside and
Oh,
let you
nice.
talk to
Yeah.
Yeah.
so bigger and better, right? Just
Right
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll call
Thanks,
you offline.
Sal.
Thank you,
See you later,
Sal.
buddy.
Thanks for having
Thank
me on.
you.
Great to chat with friends.
Nice to have you here.
Take
See ya.
care.
And off he goes, right over to the chill room
Right over to the
where
chill,
Jamie,
where Jamie is.
she's
He's gonna be
sitting right
popping
there.
up real quick.
Jamie Ray, there you are
All
in the
right.
chill room.
Hey, you
There's
guys.
two of you though. It's disconcerting.
I keep trying to cover myself up.
Well,
So
you said you were bipolar, so there's the
I know
proof.
there's
Yeah.
enough of me.
There's the bi and the polar right
It's in the
there.
pudding.
I should
It's in
have
the
never
pudding.
told you that.
You didn't have to.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. That means
Anything you
we're
say can and will be used against you
Exactly.
at some
dealing
point in
with
the
you two. I
future.
know that. I'm well.
Well, Walter, I know you've got to run real
Yeah.
soon, and we're all busy. But we want to just get to the part of the program where we talk just briefly
Yeah.
about some various things that are going on before we let everybody go. And here in Phoenix and over in the West Valley, there's a ton going on. The Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival is coming up last day of February, first day of March, and they're taking applications right now for people that want to play. Saguaro Ranch Acoustic Jam, which is also at the Glendale Public Library, is the second and fourth Sunday afternoons of every month. That's an unplugged deal, which is really a lot of fun, kind of like a song circle thing. Same thing on Saturday mornings at the Foothills Library. The Levine Folk Festival coming up on, when is that? November 20. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving every year.
Okay.
And again, they're looking for people to play. As you know, I host the Arizona Live Music Cooperative Monday nights at Enchiladas, and that's always a lot of fun. Tuesday nights at North Mountain Brewing. Folk How does a really nice showcase over on McDowell. Shan Jam Crane does that on Sunday evenings. Fatso's is on Thursday nights. Man, we got a lot going on in the Valley. Scottsdale Public Library Showcase, David Manley hosts that one. That's the first Wednesday at the Civic Center Library. Every month, Tuesday nights, Jordy does Kimmy's up on Tatum in Phoenix. Friday nights, there's an interesting jam goes on at Black Mountain Cafe up in Carefree. And that one has just gotten rolling over the past year or so, but it's really starting to spark. So that's something you might want to check out. And the 37th annual Willow Historic Home Tour and Street Fair is in February 2026, and there's a lot of opportunities to play there. If you just go online and look up the Willow Historic Home Tour and Street Fair, I bet you can just shoot an application off to them, and if you want to play somewhere neat, you could probably get to do that too. So that's what's happening over here in my little corner of the universe.
Okay. Over
That's a lot.
in Tempe, there's a few things I just want to point out that are happening, starting up new. There is a new open mic night on Wednesdays that's at the Dark Star, and this one goes until they run theirs till about 12 or 1 o'clock. It's pretty much it's a bar, but it's a really well laid out bar, huge stage, and so that's available. So what I went over there last night after the open mic night in Tempe at the TCA and talk with everybody and so it's a nice place for if people didn't get a chance to get on stage at the TCA, they can go right around the corner and get on stage at Dark Star on Mill Avenue and maybe get a set or play a couple songs and things of that nature, so because they're open, like I said, they're much open much later. So I think in going forward, I'm gonna visit them here and there as well. But that's the main thing that I have to report right now because by the time we get this out, everything that's going on this weekend will be in the past, like the Oktoberfest and shows up in Prescott. But going forward, we have the Tempe Festival of the Arts happening in December, first weekend in December. That's the one I'm going to report on for now. That's it.
Live, local, and loud all over the valley. We're busy all over the place. I just want to talk about Schneff Farms. They've got their farm festival going on, and the Blindsiders are playing there the 17th, 18th, 24th, and 31st. They do have other musicians that are playing. I'm sorry I don't have all their names, but there's always live music down there, and the festival is awesome. And there is a Oktoberfest this weekend also in Casa Grande, but like you said, this will be people will be watching this after they probably went to the
They'll be
event.
sleeping it off at that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Right.
But there's always stuff going on. So we love talking about it, and I love doing a sound check all over the valley for all these great events. And that Levine Festival is November 22nd that you were talking about.
Thank you.
So Saturday the 22nd. So that's going to do it for me right now.
Well, this has been a really, really neat addition because the three of us are very well acquainted with Sal in the chill room. So this one was a lot of fun. A big thank you to Sal, and a big thank you to everybody who's out there watching and supporting us every week now. We really appreciate it. Spread the word, beat the TomToms, tell your friends. I'm Glenn Gardner.
I'm Walt Richardson.
I'm Jamie Ray.
This is the Desert Vibe. We will catch you guys next time.